Hey, what is up, you guys? In this e-trend vlog, we cover tips and hacks for e-tailers to get around map pricing. Now, for those of you that don't know map pricing, it's minimum advertised pricing. And if you ever dealt with a company, usually on the larger brand side, they have a certain price that they don't want you to advertise or sell their product under. Now, there's a few things to understand about map pricing. It could be extremely challenging for a company selling products that is counting on trying to compete on having the best price possible, even though I can tell you from a strategy long-term standpoint, that's not really the best strategy that's going to take your business and scale over the long term. So if you are dependent on having the lowest price possible, I would say to try everything you can to strategize for over the long term, to not depend on that, right? You should be depending on building a brand over the long term by creating content, adding value to consumers. I know that's something you guys probably hear over and over and might think to yourself, well, yeah, that's something people say, but I'd rather really just have the lowest possible price. Honestly, I can tell you guys from experience in doing this for over 20 years, that really is the way to go. Once you start understanding how to build a brand and having those things really on top of mind for the long term, it's going to give you much better outcome than trying to beat other vendors in the pricing game, because eventually the brands that of the products you're selling, if you have a relationship with them, they're going to tell you to respect map pricing or stop selling to you. Again, I've had this experience. Map was extremely challenging, but there are ways to get around it, because at the end of the day, what map means is that they want you to advertise for a certain price to keep that brand value perception, but they really don't care what you actually sell it at. So let me explain this a little bit. Let's say that you're selling Ray-Ban, right? That's something I used to do when I had my business shadesdaddy.com, which was acquired. And the brand wanted, let's say, just throwing numbers out there, for a pair of Ray-Ban aviators to be sold at $100. Now, advertised at $100. Those are two very different things. So on the site, as long as it said $100, by the time the customer actually purchased the sunglasses, it could be purchased at any price. They really don't care if I sold it at $1 and lost money. That's not what their end game is. They just want to make sure that the brand perception is there for the value. So you have to advertise at a certain price, but when it comes to the actual transaction, which is between you and the customer, that's where the brand has no say, and you can either use coupons. Anything that happens post-cart is fair game when it comes to selling online. So these are strategies you could use on your own site. So once the customer reaches let's say adding to cart or at checkout, you could use automatic discounts. You could do a few certain things that get the customer to pay a lower price, lower than the competitors, any price you want, but you just have to do it in a smart, systematic way that doesn't actually reflect on the front end. There are a few ways of doing it, actually a lot of ways. You can do it through emails. You can, again, automated pricing is a big one. Once the person clicks add to cart, it can start doing automatic discounting on the checkout page. And we go over these strategies here in this e-trend post called Tips and Hacks for E-tailers to Get Around Map Pricing, which has been a really popular post and has some really good information. And what we do here is highlight actually tools that can get you around map pricing for you to, if you're dealing with this, to actually take some action on these things, right? So some tools I've personally used are Price Waiter, Daily Karma. Daily Karma, what that was, and still I believe it's around today, and it's really powerful. It's a tool that allows you to have a charity component where, let's say you're selling, again, let's stick with the pair of glasses example, at $100, and you say, if you spend if you give 5, we'll give you $20 off your purchase. That's a way to get around map pricing, because now you're beating the competitors for that price, right? So let's say that the customer takes that offer. from that 20, now it becomes $80 that they're paying by giving 5 for a charitable cause, which is a win-win, right? As a branding perspective, it's awesome. The customer gets a good deal. So you have to look at some of these strategies and you can definitely implement them. Again, in this post, we cover right here 5 strategies to get around map pricing. If you guys have any questions or concerns on map pricing, I'd love to hear it in the comments section. And that's all for this eTrend vlog.